The group stare in awe at Kakarot's transformation. His golden glow, his golden hair. It's impossible. Could Kakarot have become the legendary Super Saiyan? Just as soon as he's awakened this form, it disappears, with Kakarot reverting to normal and collapsing on the ground, the transformation being too taxing for the young boy. Everybody has to try and comprehend what is going on. First, Vomi is dead, killed by Krillin of all people, and now Kakarot has awakened a legendary power of his race. It's a lot to take in at once. Roshi finds a slip of paper on the ground with the demon insignia on it and realizes what is happening. The Demon King Piccolo has returned. The group asks who that is, with Roshi telling the story of how, decades ago, Piccolo rampaged through the land, slaughtering countless people. It wasn't until his master, Mutaito, trapped him with the Mafuba that he was stopped. It seems he's been freed from his prison and is now upon them once more. Tien asks him if Master Shen would have been the one to free him. However, Roshi says that even he wouldn't stoop to that level. However, maybe he let it slip to Krillin, and in an attempt to get revenge, he found the Demon King and unleashed him. Krillin. How could he do something like this? They knew he was a bad guy, but to kill Vomi and unleash a Demon King Piccolo is just pure evil. Bulma gives the group worse news too, that the Dragon Balls are being gathered by somebody. Maybe Piccolo is gathering the Dragon Balls in an attempt to wish to take over the world easier. Gine speaks up, saying she's not allowing that to happen. This is the planet she's grown to call home. She may be a Saiyan physically, but she is a human at heart. She won't let anything disrupt that peace, and together, they're going to find Krillin and Piccolo and put a stop to them. She can sense their energies not too far from here, so they need to get their revenge. Raditz and Goku immediately step up, ready for the confrontation, with Bulma suiting up in her armor and Launch shifting to her blonde form. Chi-Chi and the others say that they're going to stay behind to put Vomi to rest and watch over Kakarot to see if he can recover. Tien and Mark would certainly like to go, but Chi-Chi says that she needs them here just in case Kakarot wakes up and goes on a rampage, since she can't stop him on her own. The group split off, with team fighters ready to get their revenge. Krillin can't believe he killed Vomi. He has never killed anybody before, and it felt weird. Like, he was happy to finally get revenge on Kakarot and his family, but to kill somebody who didn't have anything to do with him felt wrong. The Demon King Piccolo tells him to set his mind elsewhere. He did a fantastic job and should be proud. He acted like a true demon, and with him by his side, they can rule the world together. All other martial artists will die, and with the threat of the Mafuba out of the way, then nothing can stop them. Krillin does his best to set Vomi's screams out of his head and listens to the big boss. The Pilaf gang, who are the ones to actually free Piccolo, aren't a fan of Krillin being brought aboard, since he betrayed them to take the Dragon Balls for himself and wish him to be some sort of alien. They try to tell Piccolo that he betrayed them, so what's stopping him from betraying him? Piccolo glares at them, saying that he would be a fool, just like how they are fools for trying to tell him what he can and cannot do. Piccolo then turns to Krillin, saying that to prove his loyalty, kill these three right here. The Pilaf gang scream in fear, with Krillin looking over nervously to them. He was able to kill Vomi, so these three should be the same, right? But when he killed Vomi, she was alone. To do it with an audience is kind of disturbing. Piccolo asks him what he's waiting for, and demands he kill the three of them at once. Krillin jumps and tells the Demon King that he will right away, and readies a ki blast to wipe them out. The Pilaf gang huddle together in fear, as the ship they're on is suddenly fired upon. Piccolo stands up, wondering who dares fire upon the ship, when he sees what appears to be an iron woman poking her face up to the window and deploying explosives to blow the ship to pieces. Piccolo goes to blast her away until the explosives detonate and part of the ship is blown away. Piccolo grabs Piano to protect him, while Krillin is launched towards the ground. The Pilaf gang burst open the Pilaf machine and jump in to survive, with all them landing on the ground hard. The Pilaf gang then takes this distraction to run away from Piccolo. Bulma then lands right in front of them, with Raditz, Gine, Goku, and Launch following right behind her. Piccolo demands to know who dares attack him in his own ship, with Raditz saying they dare attacking a murderous madman to protect their planet. Him and Gine are pretty confused though. This Piccolo, he's not a demon at all, he's just a Namekian? Gine says that all of the Namekians she came across out there were peaceful people. How did one end up on Earth and become a villainous madman? Piccolo is confused now. A Namekian? Are they saying he's an alien? No, that's impossible. He is a demon, the great demon king Piccolo. Raditz shrugs it off, saying that Namekian or not, he's going to pay for what he's done. He erupts in power and blasts right towards the demon king, knocking him away. Piccolo and the others around him are shocked at how he was struck so suddenly, with the demon king attempting to fight back, but it's no contest. Raditz is clearly dominating him. Krillin rushes in to help Piccolo, with Gine blasting him away, saying that's not going to happen. They need to have a chat. Krillin grits his teeth and erupts into his own power, saying he doesn't want to hear it from them. He rushes Gine, with her blocking his strike pretty easily. He gasps, not expecting that, with her kneeing him in the gut, which causes him to spit blood. That strike was stronger than anything Kakarot dealt to him in a tournament. She twists him around, nailing him right in the back, sending him hard into the ground. She steps on his back, saying that she's no pushover. She hates to fight, but that doesn't make her a weakling. She trained very hard with Bardock on planet Sadala, and that none of that power she gained ever went away. She is the true strongest being on this planet, and if anybody wants to mess with it, they're going through her. She thought she understood him. He was just a misunderstood boy who was bullied his whole life, and through his own insecurities, he became the bully, and now, a murderer. He's killed one of her closest friends, and somebody her son also considered a mother. That is something she will not forgive, and he's going to be going away for a long time. As she's giving her whole speech, Tambourine and Symbol appear behind them and attack Bulma, Goku, and Launch. The three are shocked there are other demons and are damaged pretty badly. Gine turns around to see what's happening, with Krillin launching a Donpa at her, nugging her away just enough that he can get out of her hold. He flies over to help Piccolo against Raditz, with Gine letting him do so, since she needs to help the others against these other demons. Goku and Launch would normally be able to face these aliens with their own power, but they're weakened quite a bit from the tournament still, and aren't really a match. Thankfully, Bulma can protect them with her armor, since she never was in the tournament and is still at 100%. She can't take on both of the demons alone, however, which is where Gine comes in to help. She blasts at Symbol to get her off of Bulma, and goes for him as Bulma is left to deal with Tambourine herself. She can hold her own pretty good in her armor, but Tambourine is a vicious opponent, and one she won't be able to take on easily. Piccolo is getting his ass handed to him, with him so shocked on anybody beating him without having to resort to the Mafuba. How can martial artists have gotten this powerful in his absence? Even when Krillin tries to help, he is weakened from the tournament as well, and can't do much in helping him out. Raditz stands over the two of them, saying that it's over, they've lost. He'd love to kill them, but his mom said that won't be happening. They're both going to prison. Piccolo can't help but laugh at the word prison. No prison can hold a great demon king. If only he had his youth back, then he would have squashed a group of them like flies. Raditz scoffs, saying, "Whatever, man," and he pulls out the Galactic Patrol armband, saying that his buddy Jocko knows one prison that can hold them. As he goes to put the handcuffs on, he hears more explosions behind them, with Bulma having a rough time against Tambourine. He looks on, pretty sure that she should be able to handle herself, though Piccolo takes the opportunity to blast out at her, and the key hits her armor right in the back, causing most of the... And this allows Tambourine to blast her himself, seemingly finishing her off. Raditz screams out, rushing to her side and trying to help her. She's stuck in her burning suit and doesn't appear to be breathing. No, she can't be dead. She can't be. Tambourine laughs out, saying humans are so fragile without any armor protecting them, and he flies over to help up his father and Krillin. Raditz explodes in rage, with his body being covered by a fiery aura. He screams out that the demons are going to pay for this, and his hair rises up inflamed in energy. His pupils disappear as the rest of his body erupts in gold. Raditz has awakened a newfound energy. Gine looks on in surprise. Has Raditz become a Super Saiyan as well? No, he has the energy of one, but not. It's so weird. It's almost as if he's almost at that stage, but not quite. He's like a false Super Saiyan. Raditz appears next to Symbol, kicking him so hard that his head explodes, with his brains flying everywhere. Tambourine rushes back in to attack, with Raditz ripping off his wings and smacking him around with them. Tambourine screams out in pain, with Raditz ending his suffering by punching a hole right through his chest, and launching him right in the air, firing a weekend attack at him to silence him forever. He then rushes up to Piccolo, slicing his arm off and beginning to bash his head in with it. Krillin tries to interfere, but only gets smacked across the face by his tail and sent flying into a tree unconscious. Raditz continues to beat Piccolo upside the head with his own arm, about to land a finishing blow, when a voice screams at him to stop. Raditz freezes. That voice was inside his head. How? The voice screams that if he kills Piccolo now, then the Dragon Balls will disappear too, and then nobody will be able to be revived. This shocks Raditz out of his false Super Saiyan form, and he reverts to normal, standing up and getting his head clear again. The Dragon Balls will disappear if he kills King Piccolo? How? The voice tells him it's a lot to explain, but they need to let Piccolo go for now and go to Korin Tower, where he will explain everything. Raditz yells out to the voice saying that he's not going anywhere. Piccolo needs to pay for what he did to Bulma and Vomi. The voice says he understands, and the only way to avenge them is by going to Korin Tower and letting Piccolo go for now. If they go to Korin, they'll find a way to seal Piccolo away again, without killing him and allowing the Dragon Balls to live on to revive those who were lost. Raditz struggles with what he should do, with Gine telling him that she trusts the voice. If they want to stop Piccolo for good, then they need to let him go for now. Raditz sighs, saying as much as he hates to, he'll let him go. Piccolo smiles, standing up and regrowing his arm good as new. He tells him that it's cute that Kami thinks he can stop him, and nothing will ever defeat the Demon King. He grabs Krillin and Piano, and flies away as fast as he can. Raditz and Gine glare daggers at him, and reluctantly let him go. As he goes over to check on Bulma again, he finds that the emergency care system in her suit activated, zapping her enough to get her heart beating again. She's alive! Gine says that she'll take her as fast as she can to the West City to get her help. He needs to head over to Korin's and find out how to stop Piccolo. She quickly gives him directions on how to get there, and Goku goes off with her brother to help, as Launch joins up with Gine to bring Bulma home, separating the group even more. Raditz and Goku arrive at Korin's tower, where they meet with Upa and his father Bora. They quickly explain the situation to them, with Bora letting them know that climbing Korin's tower can give them incredible strength, and maybe that's how they'll be able to defeat Piccolo. Raditz begins to fly up to the tower, but Bora says that to prove themselves worthy to Korin, they need to actually climb the tower. Raditz is irritated by this, but Goku is already climbing up, saying that it's for Bulma and Vomi's sake. Raditz sighs and begins to climb up the tower with Goku. It doesn't take them long to get to the top and meet with Korin. Korin introduces himself, telling the two they've climbed the tower faster than anybody before, even their master Roshi. He would like to give them a Senzu bean to restore their full health, but his beans went bad and they don't have the healing properties that they should. But he knows they're here because Kami contacted them. They've proven themselves worthy by climbing the tower, and now he can give them the bell to signify that they're welcomed on the lookout. Raditz and Goku are all sorts of confused by this whole interaction, but go along with everything that way. They can get to this so-called Kami and defeat Piccolo. Since they don't have the power pole with them to use to get to the lookout, Korin allows them to just fly themselves up there, so that's exactly what they do. Goku isn't as good as flying as Raditz, but is still able to fly high enough to reach the lookout, which is a giant floating building in the sky. As soon as the two land down on it, they meet with Mr. Popo and Kami himself. The two are shocked to see that Kami looks just like King Piccolo, with Raditz getting into a fighting position since he thinks this is all just a trick. Kami reassures him that he's not tricking them at all. Him and Piccolo are technically the same being, as the two split apart years ago. He stayed up here to become the guardian of this planet, with Piccolo becoming a demon and raining hell upon the mortals. Thankfully, Piccolo was sealed away by Mutaito, and Kami was able to survive long enough to create the Dragon Balls. Goku is surprised by the fact that Kami made the Dragon Balls, with him saying he indeed did, and that since him and Piccolo are still one, killing him would get rid of the Dragon Balls as well. So if they want to bring their friends back to life, they need another way to defeat him, with the Mafuba. The two are the only ones strong enough to learn this move and be able to survive the ordeal, mainly since they're not human. Raditz asks if he recognizes them as Saiyans from Namekian info, with Kami saying that he had no idea what a Namekian even was until they mentioned it to Piccolo. He's been on Earth his whole life pretty much, and has no recollection of the so-called Namek or anything. He's glad to know that somebody does though, and that maybe once Piccolo is taken care of, they could have a nice chat about it. Raditz is more focused on getting rid of Piccolo, so says of course, and they need to learn this Mafuba fast. Kami nods and begins his preparations for the two to learn this demon containment wave and seal away Piccolo for good. Back on Earth, Gine managed to put Bulma into her old Saiyan pod and begin the life support system on there to heal her up some more. She wishes that they could have some of the Saiyan healing pods from back on Sadala here, but unfortunately, it just can't be. Chi-Chi, Mark, and Tien have made their way to Capsule Corp as well with Kakarot, and he has just awakened. He doesn't remember much of the Super Saiyan transformation he achieved, but he remembers the rage he felt on seeing Vomi's death. He tells them he needs to go and find Krillin now, with Gine catching him up on what else he missed while unconscious. The real culprit is King Piccolo, and he can't kill him or else the Dragon Balls will be rendered useless. Raditz and Goku are up with Kami training right now to defeat him without killing him. Kakarot tells her that's not enough. He's still out there right now, killing God knows how many people, and that they don't know how long this training is going to take. They need to go out there now and stop him. Gine tries to hold him down, but Kakarot needs his vengeance for Vomi, and he flies off to find Piccolo. Tien flies closely behind him, saying he needs to go too to prove his worth as a martial artist. Kakarot respects him, allowing him to tag along, with Chi-Chi and Mark following behind the two on the flying Nimbus, saying they can't let him go alone. They'll defeat Piccolo together. Kakarot allows them to follow him, and they rush off to where he can sense the Demon King. Piccolo, Piano, and Krillin have used the Pilaf Gang's Dragon Radar to gather all 7 of the Dragon Balls. With all of them in hand, Piccolo says that he can use the wish to regain his youth, and that way he can squash those pesky bugs. Piano tells his master that, while that may be true, they should probably be better safe than sorry. With all of them with Kami, they may still become strong enough to defeat him. Wouldn't it be better if he wished for immortality? That way he can never die, and live forever to defeat these pesky flies and live forever to rule the world? Piccolo likes the sound of that a lot, and tells Piano that's a great idea. He asks Krillin if he thinks it's a good idea, with him saying that, definitely sounds like it. Piccolo stands in front of the Dragon Balls, about to summon Shenron, when Kakarot and the others land next to him. Piccolo looks on in confusion. Who are these brats, and why does that one in the front look just like the girl from earlier? Kakarot glares daggers at Krillin, with Krillin backing up, terrified. Kakarot's rage builds just looking at him, with the golden glow returning all around him. He says that they're monsters, and that they're going to pay for what they did. He screams out that they're going to pay! He erupts once more into his golden form, the legendary Super Saiyan. The sheer transformation alone blows everybody around him back, with Kakarot growling that they stole his mother away from him, and they're going to regret ever being born. Cause now he's mad. Now he's really, really mad. And now it's time for them to pay. Kakarot bursts off towards Krillin, with him screaming and ducking out of the way, with Kakarot nailing Piano instead, and Piano just straight up explodes due to the impact of the punch. Piccolo and Krillin back up, with Krillin begging Piccolo to help him. Piccolo takes one look at Kakarot and runs back towards the Dragon Balls, saying he's on his own. Krillin has been betrayed once again. He did his bidding, he killed Vomi for him, and he was promised protection. But, once again, he's been abandoned. Kakarot zooms into him, ripping his tail clean off, saying he's not one of them. He beats Krillin bloody, making sure not to kill him or knock him unconscious. That way, he can feel every single blow he lands on him. He wants him to suffer for what he did. He wants him in absolute agony. Krillin's screams echo all around them, while the others extremely disturbed seeing the torture in front of them. So disturbed that they don't even notice Piccolo putting the Dragon Balls back together and summoning Shenron. On the lookout, Kami can sense the battle going on below, with him sensing Kakarot's rage. He tells them that there's no more time for training. If they don't get down there now, then their brother is going to kill Piccolo. Goku says that they're not ready yet. They need more practice with the Mafuba. But Kami screams that they're out of time. It's stop Kakarot or no more Dragon Balls. Reluctantly, the two barrel down off the lookout to stop his brother from doing something he'll regret. Kakarot gets off of Krillin and steps in front of Piccolo, saying that if he makes a single move, he'll blow him right out of existence right now. Piccolo freezes, knowing that the kid's not bluffing. Kakarot looks up at Shenron and says that he wishes for Vomi to be brought back to life. Shenron's eyes glow for a moment, and after a deafening silence, Shenron tells Kakarot that his wish cannot be granted. Kakarot shocked, looks up at Shenron asking, how is that possible? He's supposed to be able to grant any wish he wants. Shenron tells the boy that revival is beyond his power. His creator has grown too weak in his old age, which limits his powers, meaning the one named Vomi cannot be brought back. Kakarot stares off at Piccolo, his heart shattered. He had hope that he could bring back his mother, even though it seemed impossible. But no, she's gone. He's never going to see her again. She's never coming back. Kakarot turns his hand towards Shenron himself, screaming that if he can't bring his mother back, then he's no good to him. Kakarot fires at Shenron, engulfing the dragon in ki, blowing him out of existence. Piccolo screams out no, but it's too late. The Dragon Balls have turned to stone. Shenron is dead. Raditz and Goku land just in time to see Shenron destroyed, with Raditz asking Kakarot, what has he done? The Dragon Balls could have brought Vomi back. Is he crazy? Kakarot screams that they couldn't have brought her back. This psycho took her from him. He rushes in to finish a job on Piccolo, with Raditz standing in his way, saying that they need him. Kakarot punches him aside, with Raditz transforming once again to his false Super Saiyan form and trying to hold off his brother from Piccolo. Though, it's clear that his power alone won't be able to hold off Kakarot for very long. Goku realizes that she has to save Piccolo, so pulls up the rice cooker and prepares to fire her Mafuba straight at the Demon King. Piccolo looks on in shock, as he is suddenly caught in the green whirlpool. Kakarot screams out no, and fires a gigantic mouth blast to get Raditz away. He then fires a Kamehameha at Goku, hitting her dead on in the chest and blasting her away, interrupting the Mafuba. Piccolo is released from the Mafuba's hold and is immediately blasted through by Kakarot. Everybody yells out no, as Piccolo stands there with a hole blown right through his chest. He looks at the hole in his chest with him saying he can't believe it. Him, the great Demon King, outclassed by this much. He won't allow that anymore. He smiles at Kakarot, saying that the demon folk will easily disappear. He spits out one last egg, with it flying right towards the others and landing at Mark's feet. He looks towards the egg, telling it to one day avenge its father's death and to not let the fire of evil die out. With that, Piccolo's body can't take it anymore and explodes. Kakarot watches Piccolo explode with a smile, saying that he did it. He avenged Vomi. No, not yet. He walks over to Krillin, ready to finish him off as well, though he reverts back to his base form, having exhausted himself on a Super Saiyan transformation. He won't let that stop him though, as he's prepared to kill Krillin still, until Goku appears behind him and slams him right on the head. Kakarot, exhausted and fatigued, is knocked out by the attack and collapses next to Krillin. Goku falls to her knees with tears in her eyes, calling him an idiot. Time passes, with Jocko having arrested Krillin and brings him off-world to the galactic prison, where he can no longer hurt anybody else on this planet. Kakarot watches him leave and looks back at his family. He looks down and tells them that he's sorry for the way he acted. The Super Saiyan transformation made him so rageful, and he couldn't control it. He needed revenge. Kakarot tells him he understands, but that was no reason to kill Shenron. Now, the Dragon Balls are gone forever, and they can no longer use them to help at all. Kakarot says he apologizes for that too, and that he was just so hurt. Vomi is gone forever, and even with all the power in the world, he was powerless. He says that he's accepted them as family now, after what they went through at the tournament, but he can't allow himself near them for too long. Every time he starts to feel happy, something terrible happens to instantly take that away and make his pain increase tenfold. First, the incident with Javot, now this. He needs to be off on his own. He'll make sure to visit from time to time, but he's not going back to live with them. He needs to train the Super Saiyan form to control it, and his anger, and he needs to do that without them. Kakarot leaves the group once again, and this time it feels final, that their lives have changed forever, and the Kakarot that they once knew is never coming back. Raditz, Goku, and this time Mark are invited to the lookout to discuss everything about Piccolo, with Kami having Mark come along since he's the one who has Piccolo's egg. Thankfully, with this egg, Kami didn't die when Piccolo did, but Kami still wants to destroy it. Mark tells him that they can't do that. After being there firsthand to see the battle of Kakarot and Piccolo, he knows what having a terrible childhood can do to a person. It's basically taken Kakarot away from all those he knows and loves. This egg is a baby. It has a chance to be evil like Piccolo, but it also has a chance to turn out like Kami. If he raises him right, then maybe he'll turn into a good person. Kami finds that pretty hard to believe, but due to him knowing that Mark is a pure heart, he'll allow him to raise the child. But to be very careful, as they still don't know what this Piccolo Jr. is capable of. Mark thanks Kami for allowing this, and he is sent back to Earth, where him and Miguel get ready to raise Piccolo Jr. and make him a good person, different from his father. Kami also noticed Raditz and Goku's bravery in taking on their own brother to save the world, so offers them a spot up here where they can train with him and become more powerful than ever before. The two know how much of a good opportunity this is and accept Kami's conditions, especially if the whole Mark raising King Piccolo thing doesn't turn out right. They head back down to Earth to say goodbye to their family and friends for now, with Raditz and Bulma coming to the mutual understanding that they should end their relationship. They care very much for each other, but they need to go their separate ways. Raditz has suffered so much family grief that he doesn't have the time for her needs anymore, and she needs to continue with her armor and her own life, so they break their relationship off, but still remain great friends. Raditz and Goku head back to the lookout to begin their training and prepare for any more threats that make their way in the foreseeable future. Out in space, Krillin is now a prisoner in the Galactic Patrol prison, the greatest prison in the universe for, well, monsters like him. To his surprise, he's not being bullied into prison, but admired. He can't understand why, since nobody wants to talk to him. Is it because his tail grew back? He's not sure. One night in his cell, however, he is awakened by a voice. He screams out in fear over the stranger in the cell, and the stranger tells him to shut up, since nobody can hear him. Krillin asks the stranger what it is he wants, with the stranger saying that he finds him very interesting. He's altered his body into that of a Saiyan's to gain a lot of power over them. He can relate to that in a way. He can get him out of here and to friends of his, that way he can get revenge on the Saiyans that wronged him and put him in here in the first place. Do they have a deal? Krillin thinks for a moment and says that no, he'd rather stay in here. The stranger is confused, with Krillin saying that no offense, but last time he made a deal with the green guy, it didn't go so well, and he deserves to be in here. He took an innocent woman's life, and now he's paying for what he did by rotting away in here. The stranger is surprised by Krillin's response. Even in a timeline where he's a villain, he still has some goodness in his heart. Whatever, he'll still find a way to get him to join him. The stranger says that he's missing out, and disappears, leaving Krillin to wonder, what the hell was that all about? Vegeta, Broly, and Tarble have been called in to meet with Frieza, and once they arrive into his quarters, they can see how angry/happy he appears to be. It's very unsettling. Frieza welcomes them inside, and tells them that he's been searching for any information regarding the surviving Saiyans of planet Sadala, ever since Vegeta told him of the one who did this to him still being alive. So far, they found nothing of any other Saiyan being alive, and now, he's got a message from some stranger that one of the Saiyans has been caught, and is now in the Galactic Patrol prison. So, in order to get information where the remaining Saiyans are, and to wipe them out for good, they're going to need a prison break. And with that, we've reached the end of this part. Hope you guys enjoyed this take on the Demon King Piccolo saga of this scenario, and hope you're looking forward to the finale of the original Dragon Ball series with Part 8, where we cover the events of the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament. As always, if you liked it, then make sure to like the video and subscribe. That way I know if you guys want this series to continue. But before I go, I just want to give a huge shout out to all of my amazing patrons helping to make this series possible. In the official patron tier, we have Nathan, BBB, Bossmaker, and Michelle Wilmez. In the Moving Up in the World tier, we have Patrick Sanalin, John Lister, Boris, and Shenron 92, Oak Woodtree, Ogata Shiba, Monal, Blake Foyer, Matthew Garcia, Vegito Gaming 78, True Lightning Striker, Joseph Calvin Liu, Semroth, The Boy Swaggy, Danny Z, Faisal Asaraf, Xavier Smith, and Lore Artie. In the VIP patron tier, we have Always Zero and 11726. And finally, in the God tier, we have Tails Homie 99. Thank you, especially Tails Homie 99. You are an absolute god. And with all that, Thank you all so much for watching, and until we meet again, see you later!